Hello everyone, it's Stuart here at Castlebank. Today, this is the next week of our Family Gardening and Nature Club, and we're going to be looking at trees and having water in the garden. So we'll look at a wildlife pond and see all the wildlife that's in there, and we can give you some ideas. You could have some, maybe even a tiny little pond in the garden. All you need is a little tub that you can put some plants in. So we're going to start with trees. So let's look at some trees. We're going to draw some. You could also paint them. You could use some bark rubbings. And then we're going to use this measuring tape to work out the age of some of the big trees in the park here at Castlebank. Okay, so let's talk. What is a tree anyway? Trees are always woody, so trees make wood. If you compare it to a small plant on the ground, obviously it's not hard. Trees can get really tall. This one is really quite tall. They can get nice and big, and that's because they make wood. Because that wood's nice and strong and it lets them get really big. There's how many different types of tree do you think there are? Lots. I don't know exactly, but there'll be thousands and thousands all over the world, and you get different types of trees in different parts of the world. Okay, so we're going to look at a few of the native Scottish trees that grow in Scotland naturally. Also, in a big park like this, we have some plants, some trees from other parts of the world. But let's look at first at the ones that come from Scotland. Okay, so here we are, still at this is a big beech tree. And there's a good way you can try and work out how old a tree is by doing a measurement. You measure using a big tape measure like this, but if you don't have one like this, you could use a bit of string. And you take it all the way around, and then you measure how long that bit of string is, and then we'll send you the little calculator that you get from the internet, and you can work out the age of the tree based on the circumference of the trunk. So this is the trunk, and you measure all the way around. That's called the circumference. Okay, so this tree, it is 4 meters and 60 centimeters all the way around here, and you want to measure it about here on you. Okay, so about up to there on an adult, that's where you want to measure it. So maybe up to the top of your head and measure it around there. So we'll do the calculator and we'll tell you how old this tree is. Okay, all right, so here we are. This is another really tall big tree, and we're measuring the circumference, and we're going to work out how old is this tree. So this is a different type of tree to the other one that we measured. Remember, we measured the beech. This is called a western hemlock tree, and this is from, it's not from Scotland, it's from North America. So this one grows a lot faster than the beech tree does. So the circumference is 4 meters and 85 centimeters, so very similar to the beech. But we're going to work out the age of this one too and see how old it is. How old do you think this one is? Right, so let's look at a few different types of trees. I want you to draw the pictures of the leaves. So this is probably the best way to tell different types of trees apart is by looking at the leaves during the summer. So this tree here, this is an oak tree. I've lost my leaf. Here's the leaf. Okay, so what I've done is I've just got a pencil and I've went round the edge just like you would go around your hand, and then write what it is, and then you can keep that as an identification guide. So we'll do this for a few different types. As well, it's great if you look at the underside, so that's the top of the leaf, that's the bottom, you can see all these veins. See the veins? So there's one big vein and then they split and go to the edge like that. And that's carrying all the water around, and all the food for the plant is moving around in those veins. Just like you've got veins in your body that carry all your blood around. So there's big huge veins going all the way up into the branches of the tree. And an oak tree can live for a very long time. It can live for hundreds and hundreds of years. So some of these might have been alive 500 years ago. That's pretty cool. So let's look at a few different types of trees and we'll see how good the drawings are. Okay, so here's our second type of tree. This is a wild cherry tree. So this will have lovely white flowers in the springtime and the bees love that. Here's my drawing of the cherry tree leaf. So can you see the difference? This one, it's got a really jaggy edge like that, whereas the oak leaf is much smoother. Still got these big bits sticking out, but they're quite round, whereas this one is jaggy all the way to the top. So that's like the main thing you want to look at. How big is it? How big's the leaf? What's the edge like? What's the edge round about? Look at the veins and the colour. Okay, so this is the last tree I want you to try and learn. So we've already looked at an oak tree, we've got leaf outline, and a cherry tree, and this one is called a birch tree. So can you see the leaves? Got one here, really small leaves this time, like that. It's got a big silver trunk. So the trunk is the main bit, going all the way up, and it's white. So that's a really easy way to find this type of tree, even from a far way away. So maybe you can do the little leaf outline of a birch leaf. So this big tree here, this is called a lime tree. And I don't know if you can see them, but there's millions and millions of flowers on the lime tree. So we don't really think about trees as having flowers, but a big tree like that is really, really important for bees, because there's thousands of bumblebees on all these flowers collecting all the nectar. So trees are really, really important, not just for birds. We spoke about birds and they nest in trees. You also have bees that are eating on trees. You have butterflies that might eat the leaves of the trees, the caterpillars. They're really, really important. So here, we're just going to show you this really quickly. This is a dead tree. So the top is gone, and about halfway up you can see 3 little boxes, and those are bat boxes. So it's a really good place to put the bat boxes, and hopefully soon we're going to get some bats coming in making a nest in there. But dead trees like this are also really important. You might get some birds might nest in the little hollow bits. All these little holes that start to appear, you can get, if you remember solitary bees from, was that week 1? Week 2? Solitary bees, they come and lay an egg in these little holes in the dead wood. So really, really important that we keep. Trees are really important, not just when they're alive, but when they're dead as well. For those of you who live in Lanark or nearby, make sure you come and visit this. So this too, this was an old tree that fell down, and what we've done, not me, what a very talented person has done is carved it with a chainsaw. So that just shows as well, look at all the great things you can do with wood. What else can you do with wood? You can build houses, you can build boats, you can make paper. What other things can you do with wood? There's so many, you have to think.
Okay.
Okay, so another thing we want to talk about today is talking about water. Think about water in the garden and in the countryside as well. Think how important important it is. All of the animals that use water like this, small ponds, big lakes, lochs, rivers, even just little puddles. And in a pond like this, there's lots and lots of tadpoles. So these are frogs that have laid their eggs, and frogs will lay their eggs in even small little containers, so you could do one in your own garden. All you would need is some kind of small bucket and some stones, rocks in it, so that the frogs can get in and out. Maybe some little plants like what we've got here. You can also see lots of insects flying around. There's things called water striders, little things that walk on the top of the water. Water boatmen, little things look like little guys in boats rowing around. What else might you get in the water? You have birds. Birds will come and have a drink, have a bath. The bees might come and land, have a little bit of a drink. And if the water's big enough, then you'll have fish as well. So there's no fish in this pond, but there's lots and lots of insects and wildlife. And we're just waiting on the frogs. The first frogs are developing, and they're really helpful in the garden because they will eat all of the slugs. And gardeners do not like slugs. So yeah, think about how you could have some water in your garden too. We'll send you some pictures and you can see how easy it would be. That's us for today. Thank you again. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something new. I want everyone to go out and try and identify and name all the different types of trees round about. You could do some bark rubbings, really easy. You just need to get a bit of paper on the trunk, on the bark, and use a crayon over it. Or you could even do some leaf prints, so get some leaves and put some paint on them and press them instead of drawing. You could do that too. So yeah, see you next week.